Shalom and welcome to Zion Branch Ministries. Thank you very much for listening. I did take some time off over the Sukkah celebration holiday. ABBA's wonderful Tabernacles, Feast of Tabernacles. And then of course the great and last terrible day on ABBA's father's calendar, the 22nd of Tishri, 5784. And of course that was a Shabbat, and the start of Sukkot was also a Shabbat. And I do believe ABBA was talking to us at that time. He had his plan. And of course, on the great and last terrible day, which is what it is called, Shemini Etzoret, 22nd of Tishri, 5784, is when Israel had to start defending herself from the other nations. And it was a wonderful, great day, the last day of Sukkot, because it was Yeshua circumcision, and he made a covenant with all the world, Yeshua HaMashiach. But of course, the worst and terrible day of the attack on Israel and the Bnei Israel. And today it is. We're already into Sheshvan, the 17th of Sheshvan, 5784, which is Wednesday, the 1st of November, 2023. And tomorrow, on the 2nd of November, is a anniversary, 106th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration, November the 2nd, 1917. So thank you very much for listening to Zion Branch Ministries. I will open with this poignant prayer. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Praise be his name and his glorious sovereignty forever and ever. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the road, when you lie down, and when you rise. You shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be tefillin between your eyes. You should write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. And Yeshua was asked about the Shema in Deuteronomy, Mark, and Luke, and he replied, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. That is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. Amen ve'amen. To your holy name, Abba. Thank you, Abba Father, for getting us to this day. And I'm going to be doing, thank you for the reading for Bibles for Israel. It is to celebrate 106 years of prophetic fulfillment for Israel, the Balfour Declaration. Amen ve'amen. To your holy name, Abba. The anniversary of the Balfour Declaration. I will bring them out from the nations and gather them from the countries, and I will bring them into their own land. I will pasture them on the mountains of Israel, in the ravines and in all the settlements in the land. Ezekiel 34:13. The anniversaries of two historical events in the founding of the modern state of Israel and the fulfillment of Bible prophecy are remembered in this month of November. The 106th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration tomorrow, November the 2nd, 1917, a British commitment to the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine, and the 76th anniversary of the United Nations Partition Plan on November the 29th, 1947, a resolution to divide Palestine into two states, one Jewish and one Arab. Because these two anniversaries are so significant, we might associate the entire month of November with the founding of the State of Israel. And the Lord your God will restore your fortunes and have compassion on you, and gather you again from all the nations where he scattered you. Deuteronomy 33. The Balfour Declaration, the prophetic fulfillment, begins. No other nation in the world has ever been re-established after being dispersed for 2,000 years, and yet the United Kingdom called for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people. If Zionism is to influence the Jewish problem throughout the world, Palestine must be made available for the largest number of Jewish immigrants. Lord Balfour, Britain's Foreign Secretary, said early in the 20th century. The Balfour Declaration, a formal statement of policy, was named after Lord Balfour, but it was in fact a commitment made by the United Kingdom that famously pledges the following. His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. It also promises that the British government will use their best endeavours to bring about such a home, while preserving the rights of non-Jews living in Palestine. While the Balfour Declaration is prophetically significant to the rebirth of Israel, it only represents England's intentions at that time. Israel would not become a nation until 1948, but it certainly does reveal that God was moving on the hearts of people all over the world to carry his people home. This is what the Sovereign Lord says. See, I will beckon to the Gentiles. I will lift up my banner to the peoples. They will bring your sons in their arms and carry their daughters on their shoulders. Isaiah 49:22. British mandate for Palestine. And they will bring all your brothers from all the nations to my holy mountain in Jerusalem as an offering to the Lord. Isaiah 66:20. As might be expected, the Arabs opposed a national homeland for the Jews, stating that Palestine had been an Arab country for 12 centuries. Nevertheless, the Balfour Declaration became a part of British mandate for Palestine, which was ratified in 1923. Originally, under the British mandate, the amount of land available for the Jewish homeland was larger and included the area now known as Jordan. But a 1922 ruling excluded it from the Jewish homeland, thus reducing the amount of land available for the Jewish people by almost 80%. In March 1946, under the Treaty of London, that largest section of Palestine became the Hashemite Kingdom of Transjordan, which is today's Jordan. The Partition Plan. Arabs miss initial chance for a two-state solution. A second anniversary at the end of November is also significant to the formation of the State of Israel, the United Nations vote on the Partition Plan. In 1947, the British government no longer wanted to govern the land of Palestine, a sliver of land between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. A Partition Plan, Resolution 181, number 2, was represented to the then newly formed United Nations on November the 29th, 1947. That plan proposed to divide the remaining land of Palestine into two independent states, one Jewish and one Arab. Jerusalem, however, would remain an intentional city under the administration of the United Nations. An international city, Jerusalem, however, would remain an international city under the administration of the United Nations, and the Jews would receive primarily arid land in the Negev desert. The borders were patchwork and probably indefensible. The resolution was adopted by the UN General Assembly with 33 in favour and 13 against, and 10 abstentions. The leaders of the Jewish community in Palestine, through the Jewish Agency, accepted the resolution. The Arab community, with the support of the Arab League, rejected it. The Jewish people were overjoyed and danced in the streets. The Arabs protested and fanned the winds of war. Immediately after the adoption of the plan by the UN, the 1947 to 1948 civil war in mandatory Palestine broke out, and the partition plan for Palestine was never implemented. Following the United Nations vote, the situation became dangerous for Jews in Arab lands. In 1947, in Aleppo, Syria, now famous for its rebellion against the government of Bashar Assad, a pogrom, organised massacre often condoned by officials, erupted. 75 Jews were killed and several hundred wounded, leading to the exodus of half of the city's Jewish population. The main synagogue was set on fire, and the world's most ancient Hebrew Bible, next to the Dead Sea Scrolls, named the Aleppo Codex, was thought to have been destroyed. Most of it was saved, however, and it was hidden away until it could be smuggled out of Syria. It is about 1,000 years old, and most Jewish Bibles are copied and translated from this manuscript. Currently, it is housed in the vaults of the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. The Aleppo Codex is one of the foundation's texts in the translation work of the Messianic Prophecy Bible. The newly formed Jordan, it turns out, wasn't satisfied with the vast lands provided on the east bank of the Jordan River. It wanted the west bank as well. But Jordan wasn't the only country that has designs on Israel. When the British Mandate terminated on May the 14th, 1948, Israel became a nation in one day, thus fulfilling yet another biblical prophecy. Amen, amen to that. Who has ever heard of such a thing? Who has ever seen such things? Can a country be born in a day, or a nation be brought forth in a moment? Yet no sooner is Zion in labour than she gives birth to her children. Amen, amen. Isaiah 66:8. The surrounding Arab countries, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, as well as Saudi Arabia, Sudan and Yemen, declared war on Israel, and the 1948 Israel War of Independence began. In 2011, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that the Arab rejection of the partition plan was a mistake that he hoped to correct. Abbas, however, preferred to create a de facto Palestine state by pressuring international bodies such as the United Nations, Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization under UNESCO, to recognize the Palestine state as already existing, rather than work with Israel through a process of mutual negotiations. That was written in the Time magazine, and that is what Mahmoud Abbas preferred. However, to borrow the words of former Israel diplomat ABBA, the Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. In 2000, in fact, at the second Camp David summit, Israel Prime Minister Ehud Barak offered to grant the Palestinians up to 94% of the West Bank and to dismantle 63 Jewish settlements. The offer was rejected. The talks failed due to disagreements over the final status of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount and the demand for the right of return of Palestinian refugees. Joel 3:2. In those days and at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I will enter in judgment against them concerning my inheritance, my people Israel, for they scattered my people among the nations and divided up my land. Joel 3:2. The Hebrew prophet Joel clearly indicates that in the last days God will judge the world for dividing the land of Israel, which is his land. We should not be surprised, therefore, to see attempts to divide Israel. The Balfour Declaration and the Partition Plan had their role in the prophetic fulfillment of Israel's rebirth as a nation in May 1948. Every November, when the anniversaries of these two events are celebrated, we should remember that God's hand is on Israel. And since the Bible links these events to the end times, the month of November should remind us that we are living in the last days, and it is prudent to redeem the time. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90:12. Amen, amen. To your holy name, Abba Father. May the words of my mouth and meditations of my heart always find favor before you, my rock and my redeemer. So I am going to close with this prayer in the hope of Yeshua HaMashiach, our Prince of Peace, our light, our Redeemer, that in these dark days, we have to keep our focus on Yeshua. We must keep our focus on Yeshua. We have to remember there's always light after the darkness. And we will be looking forward to our wonderful December holiday on Abba Father's calendar. December, the 24th of Kislev, Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. So I will leave you with this last prayer of the disciples' prayer. And I'm reading out of Rabbi Shapiro's wonderful Ahavat Olam Siddur. If you do not have it, please, it is indispensable and a wonderful way to help you with your prayers. The disciples' prayer. Our Father in heaven, may your name be sanctified, may your kingdom come. As your will is done in the heavens, may it also be done on earth. Give us the bread that was our allotment today, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven those indebted to us. And do not lead us into tempting, but save us from the evil one. For to you is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for endless eternities. Amen ve'amen. To your holy name, Abba Father. And so I hope and pray that this reading for Bibles for Israel has blessed you, and that you will go and please donate to Bibles of Israel, and they will send you wonderful writings and Torah verses from the Torah, from the Bible. They are just a wonderful resource to have. So please donate to biblesforisrael.com if you can. Thank you very much for listening. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Asher. Thank you very much for listening to Zion Branch Ministries. Until next time, Shalom.